Your sister knows a secret about your money. She has already spoken to a lawyer, Archangel Michael says. The night feels heavy because a truth is pressing against the edges of your life. It waits at the threshold like a messenger who cannot turn back. The message carries your name and the weight of a signature. A fire flickers in the unseen places and throws tall shadows against old memories. The past moves through the house like a quiet archivist, touching drawers and cupboards and hidden envelopes. Your breath knows that something sacred and practical has changed. Paper speaks in its own language. It speaks through stamps, seals, and lines that form a binding promise. Somewhere a page already bears ink that concerns your destiny. Your sister sits with a posture that looks calm from a distance. Her hands and eyes tell another story in the close glow of a desk lamp. She has spoken words that cannot be unsaid to a person trained to turn words into actions. A door closed in a glass building where echoes live. The lawyer recorded everything with careful precision and patient nods. Dates, amounts, and relationships became entries that do not fade. You stand under a sky that feels both protective and alert. The wind crosses your path like a courier bearing quiet warnings. The horizon answers with a thin line of gold that says you are not alone. There are accounts that remember you even when you forget them. There are numbers that sleep in vaults like mountains dreaming. There are records that carry your past harvest forward into your present hour. Someone studied those records with deliberate attention. The ink of curiosity pulled other people into the circle of your story. Behind polite smiles, calculations stacked like stones for a future wall. Your sister knows a detail that bends the river of events. She did not memorize it by accident. She uncovered it like a key that was waiting under the mat of family history. A man in a suit listened without emotion. He asked for documents and received them with well-practiced hands. He stored them in a file that now bears a label with your surname. The room smelled faintly of paper, coffee, and the steel breath of a printer. The clock in that room moved 5 minutes forward and set a new tone for the week. The air changed in a way only the spirit notices. Names moved across a monitor, names of banks, properties, and trusts. Digital maps opened like old atlases on a polished table. A path formed from one red dot to another with your life at the center. The conversation did not explode, it settled. It settled like heavy rain settling into a riverbed and finding the shortest way downhill. It created channels that will carry consequences unless you change the terrain. This is not a message of fear. This is a message of strength summoned in time. Your feet now know where to stand. Listen to the rhythm underneath your heartbeat. It marks out steps you can take in measured order. The path appears one plank at a time as you keep moving. The first plank is awareness. You accept that a conversation has already happened and that it matters. You accept that the details may expand like ink in water if left unattended. The second plank is calm. Your power increases when your spirit is quiet and your mind is clear. Calm hands unlock doors that frantic hands cannot touch. The third plank is light. Bring light to your paperwork and your passwords and your timelines. Light reveals both treasures and traps with equal honesty. Your sister has many layers to her heart. Some layers remember your shared childhood and the years of borrowed clothes and whispered stories. Some layers carry burdens she never learned to name. The meeting with the lawyer formed because pressure needed a release valve. It formed because envy and fear can borrow logic and wear it like a neat jacket. It formed because the empty parts of a person search for shortcuts to fullness. The paper that matters is older than the meeting. It is older than the whispers and the hurried calls. It has waited in drawers, folders, or digital archives with your name etched into its meaning. There may be a will tucked behind a photograph. There may be a deed folded in a brown envelope that smells like the past. There may be a share certificate hiding like a small white bird in a stack of ordinary pages. Your name belongs where your name was placed in good faith. Your portion belongs where your portion was assigned in clean intention. Your peace belongs where your peace can grow without interference. Your sister carries a storm she did not create alone. People around her fed that storm with half-truths and promises of quick outcomes. They played chess with pieces they did not own. A lawyer can only build with the bricks given. Unverified claims create fragile walls. Verified documents anchor foundations that last. A timeline exists whether you draw it or not. The first mark on that line is an original promise. The next mark is a deviation that tries to bend that promise. Your spirit is not a passenger. Your spirit is the driver with a steady hand. The road respects a driver who stays awake. Now the current accelerates. Banks open in the morning and close at evening while systems hum through the night. The digital ledgers never sleep and they never forget. You will meet the day with order. You will gather identification, statements, and copies of the originals that define your rights. You will hold them like tools instead of fears. Your voice is a key when it speaks with clarity. A firm voice unlocks the attention of those who protect records and enforce fairness. A clear voice writes its own transcript inside the memory of a room. Notice how the energy shifts when you bring light. Notice how faces soften when truth stands without aggression. Notice how pathways appear when your steps align with integrity. The lawyer who listened can also listen to you. The file that exists can also carry your statement and your evidence. The narrative can include the facts that were missing. This is a house built on stone rather than sand. Stone forms when time and pressure meet truth. Sand scatters when exposure and gravity arrive. Your sister is not your enemy in the design of heaven. She is a person standing at a forked road. One road is scarcity and fear, the other road is responsibility and repair. Compassion does not erase boundaries. Boundaries do not erase compassion. Together they create the fence that protects the garden and still allows flowers to be seen. You carry a light that answers secrets without violence. You carry a calm that slows the clock in busy rooms. You carry a presence that makes paper tell the truth. The phone that rang at that office can ring again. The pen that signed notes can sign acknowledgments of your rights. The printer that worked for shadows can also print confirmations for your peace. In the quiet hours your helpers align. Some helpers walk in flesh and some stand just beyond the veil like watchmen on bright walls. They move in clean order and they do not break stride. This story is not a tragedy. This story is a correction. Correction returns a river to its bed so it can sing again. Your sister may feel cornered by choices she allowed. Shame wraps people in heavy fabric that makes them stumble. Grace lifts the fabric and gives room for honest movement. You choose clarity over confrontation. You choose evidence over accusation. You choose a steady pace that reaches the finish line with dignity. The documents with seals become your companions rather than your fears. They walk with you into rooms where decisions happen. They speak in the simple language of fact. Memory is a witness. It remembers conversations at kitchen tables and the intention of elders who counted you in. Memory stands beside you when pages try to pretend you were never there. Every safe holds an echo of the hand that placed items inside it. Every drawer remembers the moment it closed on a sacred thing. Every signature carries the breath of the signer. You follow the echo and you open the drawers. You hold the sacred thing and you feel its temperature. You let your breath cover the signature with respect and resolve. The lawyer respects clarity, dates, and chain of custody. The banker respects official letters and precise updates. The registrar respects numbers that match and names that align. Your life respects you when you protect it. Your future respects you when you steer it. Your peace respects you when you feed it. The old pattern breaks under your new posture. The hushed plans collapse under verified light. The detour ends where the main road reveals itself again. You will notice how the air feels different in your home. Doors sound confident when they close with rightful ownership. Floors sound solid when you cross them with assurance. Your sister can release the pressure she carries. Her hands can open and empty what they gripped in fear. Her face can learn the warmth of accountability. You can offer a path that includes healing while keeping your crown in place. You can offer conversation that belongs in daylight rather than corners. You can offer terms that protect everyone from further harm. The calendar turns and the season favors courageous action. Small daily steps become a procession of victory. Little hinges swing wide gates when they are oiled by truth. Notice the knives of gossip drop when you refuse to carry them. Notice the fog recede when you insist on documents and dates. Notice the strength you gain when you act rather than react. You have a core that does not tremble. Your core holds your lineage, your labor, and your promise. That core stands tall even when winds arrive. The lawyer's file is not a throne. It is a folder subject to stronger evidence. It is a bundle of claims that must bow to reality. You collect your proof with patience. You make copies and store them in safe places. You alert the institutions that need to be informed. Each responsible person you meet becomes a witness. Each stamped receipt becomes a guard standing at your gate. Each calm email becomes a stone in a protective wall. Your name holds a melody that does not belong to confusion. Your name sits in the book of rightful ownership. Your name feels at home when placed where it was intended. A new tone spreads through your family line. It is the tone of stewardship rather than struggle. It is the tone of legacy rather than loss. The keys of your life return to your hand in order. One key for property, one key for accounts, one key for future possibilities. You feel their weight and you understand their music. You decide that transparency will live in your house. You decide that generosity will be chosen rather than stolen. You decide that wisdom will guard the doors day and night. The pages close with your peace written across them like dawn. The seal cools and sits where it belongs. The signatures align to the truth they were meant to serve. You breathe and the room breathes with you. The ceiling seems higher because fear has shrunk. The windows open because hope needs air. Your sister can learn new steps. She can walk beside truth rather than around it. She can stand on the same floor your peace has built. You become a lighthouse for the ones who watch quietly. You show them how to steady shaking hands. You show them how to turn on the light without breaking the lamp. The story travels ahead of you and prepares favor. People who need to help you feel nudged to do it. Systems that felt cold begin to respond with order. You keep your records with the care of a gardener storing seeds. You keep your passwords with the care of a traveler guarding a passport. You keep your boundaries with the care of a captain reading a compass. This season opens like a letter sealed with gold. The words inside are firm and kind. They carry instructions and they carry comfort. Where fear once built a case, truth now builds a home. Where envy once whispered, gratitude now sings. Where confusion once circled, direction now points straight. The lawyer knows the next call can change the tone. The file knows that a new document can turn the page. The hour knows the value of timely courage. Courage walks in your shoes today. Wisdom warms your shoulders like a cloak. Protection moves with you like a loyal friend. The river runs in its rightful bed again. The trees on the banks drink deeply. The fish move like silver thoughts under clear water. You will sleep and your sleep will be guarded. You will wake and your morning will stand strong. You will move and your steps will leave honest footprints. The house of your name stands bright on its hill. The door is straight and the windows are true. The path up the hill is clean and open. Your wealth is not only number and coin. It is also dignity, legacy, and peace. It is also the freedom to bless without fear. The lesson writes itself in careful lines. Protect what is yours with light. Guide what is shared with love. What was hidden loses its power in your presence. What was twisted releases its grip. What was threatened returns to safety. The seasons ahead carry clean weather. The work you do today echoes into better tomorrows. The bridge you build now holds for the ones who come after you. In the end, your sister will know that truth is kinder than shadows. The lawyer will know that complete information is stronger than partial claims. You will know that your spirit always recognized the way forward. This chapter closes without noise. It closes like a book that has been read with care and highlighted with wisdom. It rests on the shelf of your life where good lessons live. You stand at your window and the air feels new. The city hums as if congratulating your steady heart. The horizon smiles like a promise kept. Honor what you have built. Honor those who trusted you to carry the lineage. Honor yourself by keeping what is yours in the light. Walk on with shoulders lifted. Walk on with eyes clear. Walk on with the quiet strength that never needs to shout. And when you look back at this day, you will see a line you crossed in power. You will see a door you opened with grace. You will see a version of you that is larger than fear and older than doubt. The message has been delivered. The nights ahead will feel lighter and the days ahead will feel longer. The truth will continue its work with patience and precision. What belongs to you finds you by name. What belongs to your future arrives without stealing from anyone. What belongs to your peace grows roots and branches and fruit. Your hands are ready. Your mind is clear. Your heart is steady. The light that called you into awareness now rests gently on your shoulders. The guardians around you return to their stations with satisfaction. The road ahead welcomes your steps with a clean invitation. The story of your money now reflects the story of your soul. Ordered, generous, and free. Rooted, expansive, and safe. Carry this certainty like a letter pressed to your chest. Carry this wisdom like a map that never tears. Carry this peace like a quiet anthem under everything you do. The chapter ends with a seal of calm authority. The edges of your life feel neat and whole. The center of your life shines with rightful possession. What tried to bend the river has lost its strength. What tried to cloud the sky has thinned into blue. What tried to redefine your name has learned respect. Now step into your evening with confidence. Step into your morning with gratitude. Step into your future with the same steady light that brought you here. Your sister can choose healing, and you can choose boundaries. The lawyer can file the facts in proper order. The universe can witness a clean exchange that honors everyone. You are ready for the next good work. You are ready for the next good rest. You are ready for the legacy that remembers your courage. This is how the story holds. This is how the house stands. This is how your name shines on doors that are truly yours. The last lights go out in offices and the city turns softly toward night. Your peace stays awake like a watchman on the wall. Your future sleeps like a child in a safe room. Breathe once more and feel the weight leave your shoulders. The horizon opens like a curtain drawing back. The stage belongs to truth and it bows to your steady steps. The guardians bless your steps and your sleep. They bless your papers and your plans. They bless your voice and your timing. Your life answers with a quiet yes that needs no applause. Your heart answers with a steady drum that needs no hurry. Your home answers with a stillness that needs no defense. The message returns to where messages are kept. The light remains where light is needed. The story carries on in strength and clarity. Archangel Michael says, the next chapter opens with a steadier light across your desk. The lamp glows like a small sunrise over folders, receipts, and letters that now stand in formation. Your hands move with purpose that feels like music written for this exact hour. The calendar on your wall carries a rhythm of appointments that guard your future. Each date holds a conversation where truth will be spoken and recorded. Each hour holds actions that become anchors rather than drifting words. You create a master file that lives in a firm container. Inside it, every document sits in chronological order like steps on a staircase. Your name rises with each step as if the paper itself remembers your authority. A timeline appears like a clean river on a white page. On that line, you mark the origin of the funds and the intent of the giver. You add notes of every transfer, every message, and every witness who can confirm what is right. Morning brings the hum of systems waking to serve you. Banks recognize the weight in your voice when you verify, update, and protect. Alerts begin to stand guard the way sentries stand at the gates of a city. You preserve digital evidence like seeds in a dry jar. Screenshots carry timestamps that fit together like a precise puzzle. Every email and statement finds a safe home where it cannot be edited without leaving a fingerprint. A notary office becomes a quiet stage for your certainty. Pages meet signatures under a seal that cools with finality. The clerk watches respect rise in the room as facts settle into their places. The property registry greets your patience with clear records. The clerk types your name and the screen replies with rightful lines. Copies slide across the counter and land in your file like small victories. Conversations with institutions walk on rails of calm. You speak in measured phrases that carry dates, amounts, and references. People on the other end respond with diligence because clarity commands attention. Your sister senses the weather changing. The fog around her choices begins to thin and reveal the road. She can feel the difference between a shortcut and a covenant that sustains. You choose a table in the daylight for any family talk. The table is simple and the chairs face each other without shadows. A pitcher of water sits between you like a reminder that thirst can be answered. Boundaries take shape like clean lines on good paper. Generosity is not erased, it is scheduled and documented. Love is not silenced, it is guided and protected. Her words arrive slower and more careful. She speaks of pressure that built around her like walls without doors. She speaks of promises made to people who offered ladders that were really snakes. You do not carry stones in this conversation. You carry light that reveals and light that heals. You carry the memory of elders whose intentions were honest and strong. A mediator may be invited to witness the steps. Their presence keeps every sentence inside safe rails. Their pen captures agreements that can be honored without confusion. If there is repair to be made, it begins like rainfall. Drops strike the dust and invite new growth. The ground softens and becomes workable again under steady skies. You request a written acknowledgement where it is needed. The acknowledgement carries names, dates, and amounts that match the truth. It carries signatures that speak for themselves without noise. Installments are mapped on a calendar with clear intervals. Each interval is a rung on a ladder that returns everyone to level ground. Each payment is a step that respects both dignity and responsibility. Silence no longer protects confusion. Silence becomes rest between honest efforts. Silence becomes the breath that helps the next right word land in place. You appoint guardians for the gates of your accounts. Two-factor confirmations stand like tall oaks at the entrance. Recovery codes rest in a fireproof space where they can sleep without fear. Passwords change like seasons change a landscape. Strong phrases replace weak ones that belonged to yesterday. The locks on your digital doors learn your new song and hum with you. Your phone becomes a small command center. It carries alerts that speak softly and precisely. It carries contacts who know how to answer the right call with the right tone. Your email filters become a sieve for gold. Important notices rise to the top like bright coins in the pan. Junk falls away into the streambed where it cannot distract your eye. You set reminders that are neither loud nor frantic. They ring like bells in a monastery, steady and respectful. They call you to small tasks that keep large blessings in order. The lawyer who first heard one version of events can hear another. You arrive with pages that align the story with the facts. The file opens to receive clarity the way a field opens to receive rain. Professional eyes respect your preparation. They see clean copies, numbered exhibits, and a table of contents. They see a calm witness seated inside your posture. If new counsel is needed, you choose with discernment. You ask for expertise proven by timelines and outcomes rather than slogans. You observe how attention to detail lives in their daily habits. Your financial map expands without losing its borders. Accounts are labeled for purpose rather than panic. A reserve appears like a quiet lake that reflects sunlight and steadies the climate. You write letters to yourself and keep them in a private folder. The letters remind you who you are when winds try to erase your outline. The letters hold your voice steady when rooms feel colder than expected. A trusted friend becomes a second pair of eyes. They read what you wrote and ask for clarity where words can be sharper. They stand beside accuracy like a lamplighter on evening streets. Your home learns the comfort of labeled folders and trusted drawers. Things are findable and therefore peaceful. Things are findable and therefore safe. Night has new textures because anxiety no longer sets the tempo. Sleep returns on slow rivers that carry strength to morning. Dreams speak in images of order, keys, and open fields. Archangel Michael says, "The armor you wear is not made of noise. It is made of structure, humility, and truth set in sequence. It is made of discipline that turns hope into outcome. Courage continues as a daily craft. It shows up in gentle emails sent on time. It shows up in receipts stored before the evening meal. Your sister stands at another choice point. The narrow road asks for honesty and the wide road offers flattery. She feels the pull toward the narrow road because it leads to clean light. If restitution is part of her path, it will shape her into something stronger. If service is part of her path, it will turn her hands from taking to tending. If learning is part of her path, it will turn her eyes from envy to stewardship. You bless without surrendering essential boundaries. You forgive without forgetting institutional safeguards. You love without letting doors swing on broken hinges. In the wider circle, others watch and learn. They see how dignity does not require drama. They see how tenderness and strength can walk the same street. Paperwork that once felt like a jungle becomes a tended garden. Paths curve between beds of labeled plants, each in its season. Fences keep out what would consume without giving back. A small ledger appears on your kitchen counter. It tracks inflow and outflow like a heartbeat on paper. The numbers move with honesty and describe a life that breathes. You add a page titled Legacy. On it you outline how your resources serve the work that matches your name. On it you place the values that should guide decisions if voices go quiet. Trusted executors learn where the documents sleep. They learn the key that opens the cabinet and the phrase that opens the cloud. They learn the story behind the numbers so the numbers keep telling the truth. Your daily work continues like a river that never forgets its path. The banks are higher now and the water runs clearer. Fish glitter in the current like small confirmations that life is healthy. A phone call arrives from someone who felt the nudge to stand with you. Their expertise closes a gap you could not see from inside the moment. Their presence clicks into your week like a puzzle piece that waited patiently. You thank them with clean gratitude that expects nothing extra. Gratitude settles into the soil of your relationships and grows shade for warm days. Gratitude keeps your doors unlocked to the right kind of help. In the background, systems harmonize with your intentions. The calendar completes loops exactly where you planned them. Institutions see you as a person who respects process, and they respond in kind. Your family story learns a new paragraph. It reads like a bridge built over water that once flooded the road. It reads like a lantern carried by someone who refuses to curse the night. You look at a photograph from years ago and feel tenderness. The children in the picture did not know the weight of money or the shape of law. The adults now carry that weight with the wisdom gained through weather. The lawyer's office calls with updates spoken in professional cadence. Their sentences are careful and their meanings are firm. They confirm that papers now match the reality you carried in your bones. Closure does not arrive with trumpets. It arrives as a lock that clicks and stays. It arrives as a ledger that balances and rests. You place copies of final documents into the master file. Tabs stand like flags marking important ground. The binder closes with a sound that feels like a promise kept. A quiet celebration takes shape in your kitchen. Music plays at a volume that honors the neighbors and your own heart. A cup is raised to the kind of victory that does not leave bruises. Archangel Michael says, "Your strength is a lighthouse, not a siren. It warns cliffs to keep their distance and it welcomes ships that sail in honesty. It glows without apology over water that once felt treacherous. You craft letters of thanks to professionals who acted with integrity. Their names now live in your book of trusted hands. Their work becomes part of the architecture that holds your life upright. If generosity rises, it rises through channels built for blessing. Donations carry receipts and intentions written in clear ink. Support flows where it can do the most good without endangering your roots. Your sister begins to breathe in a new way. She discovers the relief that follows truth told in full. She discovers the strength that follows commitments honored over time. Days pass with the symmetry of well-laid stones. Chores, calls, and small joys share the same table. None of them crowd the others, and peace keeps the seating chart. You revisit the legacy page and add one more line. It says that love must never be used to excuse harm. It says that love must always be used to guide repair. Sunlight lands on the edge of the master file as the hour turns. The room feels wider because fear has moved out and order has moved in. The future feels closer because the bridge already reaches toward it. What belongs to you remains with you in evidence and in spirit.